This is Matt for Into Boxing. Delighted to be joined by Sky's Adam Smith. Adam, initial reaction to Chris Eubank beating Liam Williams?
Yeah, I thought it was a strange fight. I thought Chris was really sharp, accurate. First 4 or 5 rounds, I thought he looked brilliant, and obviously the sort of relationship with Roy Jones has really paid off. So I thought he was really good, and I was surprised sort of how easily Liam went down in the first sort of 2 or 3 of the knockdowns. He obviously had a mountain to climb, Liam, so you know, credit him for coming back at him. I was a little bit disappointed that Chris coasted, and I just think that it would have had that sort of emphatic, defining statement if he'd managed to stop Liam, and I think that he could have at one point, but I thought the sort of rounds 7, 8, 9, 10. I mean, Matt and Enzo were giving quite a lot of those to Liam, and although there was a huge difference already on the scorecards, and it never looked like he sort of wrestled that back. I mean, he was still there, and he was still coming on. So yeah, I thought it was a good performance from Chris, but I was a little bit disappointed that he didn't sort of finish it in style.
Do you think that there was just that much animosity and hate for one another that he thought, you know what, I'm gonna try and embarrass you almost in front of your fans instead of getting it done?
I think that's exactly what he thought, and he said that in the post-fight interview with Andy Scott, that he wanted to prove a point and sort of punish him from start to finish. But I think there was times where he just wasn't boxing as well as he did in the first part of the fight, and I thought Liam came back in, had his own success as well. So. You know, you can't do that at the higher level, but maybe that was just to get rid of this grudge and move on. Listen, he won it well. It was a really good performance. I just didn't think it was a great one.
Yeah. Do you think when you're looking at Chris now, who wants world titles, wants to be challenging for big names, is that the sort of performance that will call for that, or is it a case of, will people look at it and go, disappointing?
I still think at 32 he's a bit of an enigma. I think he's he's got plenty of skills. He's got a granite chin. He moves nicely around the ring, and when he's on song, when he's on point, when he's utilising his jab, I think he's excellent. But sometimes I think he drifts, and he just, listen, his dad had oddities as well, and there's a lot of genetic similarities, aren't there?
Showboating, yeah,
and all of that, and I don't mind that. I like the sort of pantomime villain that he was. That was fine. All that stuff about the taking the crowd and the lion's den and the hostility, and he loves all that. I was just talking about the sort of ring performance, where I thought he was very good. I just thought the first half of the fight was brilliant. The second half just drifted.
In terms of Liam Williams, not to touch on him too much longer, because obviously he tried his best in there tonight, but did it look like maybe punch resistance had gone? Because the first knockdown looked almost like a half check-up / jab. Couldn't really work it out, and he fell right into it.
It was a jab, really, and I don't know, he went down quite easily, but I wondered if it was the weight at the beginning or whether it was a punch resistance. But he's always been pretty strong and tough, but he came back and he sort of he shrugged that off, and he got back to the tactics, and I thought he utilised his jab well at times, Liam, and there were times he had some success, and those sort of 6, 7, 8, 9 rounds where the boys were sort of nicking it towards Liam, they were close rounds, but I just thought that it was a disappointment after that in terms of what Chris had done earlier in the fight. Not just the knockdowns, but I thought he was boxing really well, and I just think it was like a bit of a fight of two halves, and the second half just wasn't as good, although Liam deserves huge amounts of credit for trying to wrestle it back.
Quickly, let's just talk about Claressa Shields' superstar entrance. She looked like she was being a little bit more calmer in her approach today. She tried not to hold up, but then towards the end she went for the knockout and tried to force it. Talk to me about her.
She's had a fantastic week here. She's been a magnetic attraction around Cardiff. I've loved having her here. I can't wait for the fight with Savannah Marshall. Obviously the needle and the animosity at the end was great. It's genuine. It's great. I think it's going to be a fantastic fight, a monster fight if Savannah gets through her defence in the spring. Bring it on in the summer. And as far as Claressa's performance, I thought she was fantastic tonight. She was really classy. She won pretty much every minute of every round. Hats off to Emma Cozen for her bravery, but I think Claressa was probably trying a little bit too hard for the stoppage. But the body shots were great. The variety was excellent, and it was a privilege to sort of be up close and watching her.
How refreshing is it to see? We see it a lot in men's boxing, where someone will come to the ringside, challenge someone for it. We've got two genuine world-class talents now promoting and going back and forth. This could be obviously like them two paving the way for future talents and future females coming through. How refreshing is it to see?
I totally agree. I can't remember two women like that at the end of a fight. I think it was absolutely brilliant, and they both believe they're going to win. They're both very talented. Clarissa's only defeat ever was to Savannah. Savannah's improving. She's got a great relationship with Peter Fury, and of course Clarissa's going to believe she's a strong favourite going in for what she's done, both as an amateur and as a pro. But Savannah's got power. She's bigger than her, and she's going to have the whole of the northeast behind her. So it'll be very different to Cardiff.
Absolutely. Let's hope we get it in Newcastle, St James's Park, something like that. It's been an incredible week, Adam. Look, thanks for giving Into Boxing a lot of your time. We appreciate it.
No
and
problem.
We'll catch up on the next fight.
Quick line on Caroline Dubois, who I thought was brilliant.
Go for it. Yeah,
she's absolutely fantastic, and I think she's going to be a real superstar. I just love watching her tonight. She's a quick southpaw. She's got power. I think she almost could have probably got Fana Masekete out of there at some point. But I just like watching her for 6 rounds, and it's just great for the future of boxing.
I saw her in the dressing room beforehand, and she was almost giddy. She was sat there like hands were going. She's like, I just want to go now.
Yeah, and I think you'll see her settle down a little bit as we move on. But I think I commentated with Michaela on Caroline tonight, and she was super impressed. And she's obviously an expert on the ladies and the amateur game, and she just thinks she's phenomenal.
There was also a period as well. I was in the dressing room of Clarissa while she was sort of going through the motions a little bit, and she was sat down watching and almost giving advice and praising Caroline. So hopefully she sees that back, because obviously that's someone she's looked up to, isn't it?
Of course, it's just terrific. And Michaela was saying that Caroline reminded her a bit of Clarissa, and listen, it's all good, isn't it? We've got such a strong body of female talent, and we're lucky enough, Ben and I, to have Caroline, and we think she's going to go a long, long way.
Yeah, absolutely. Adam, thanks very much for your time, bud.
No problem.
We'll catch up again.